Well, well, this didn't take long. This didn't take long at all. We are expecting at any moment the door to open, and either Liz Truss, maybe Graham Bradley, Bradley, yeah, Graham Bradley, leader of the 1922 committee, to come out and maybe make a statement. Whatever happens in the next couple of minutes, oh boy, she's going to say she's gone. She's going to be gone. Like whatever happens, Truss is gone. But from what we've been hearing the past couple of minutes, Truss might stay on temporarily. So two things are going to happen. Either A, someone is going to step in and temporarily lead the way, shall we say, for this, shall we say, the interim period, or Truss is going to stay on potentially until the end of the month, get that autumn mini budget out of the way, then she'll go. We are expecting one of those two things to happen. Of course, we don't know exactly what it is will happen. We will only know once those doors are open, and essentially we hear what Truss has to say. Like I say, we're just sitting here now and waiting. But yeah, what a day! what a day! Nico admits she's late. Yeah. Oh, Capital OG, good afternoon to you. Like I say, after pretty much yesterday, I couldn't see how she'd survive the day. There was no way she'd be allowed to continue after last night's absolutely crazy vote and what happened there. General election, possibly, but the Tories are going to do everything they can to sort of prevent that, because they know that they will go to general election now. They will get absolutely wiped out. They will get absolutely wiped out. Ooh, here we go. Here we go.
Can I hear?
I came into office at a time of great economic and international instability. Families and businesses were worried about how to pay their bills. Putin's illegal war in Ukraine threatens the security of our whole continent, and our country has been held back for too long by low economic growth. I was elected by the Conservative Party with a mandate to change this. We delivered on energy bills and on cutting national insurance. And we set out a vision for a low tax, high growth economy that would take advantage of the freedoms of Brexit. I recognise, though, given the situation, I cannot deliver the mandate on which I was elected by the Conservative Party. I have therefore spoken to His Majesty the King to notify him that I am resigning as leader of the Conservative Party. This morning, I met the chairman of the 1922 committee, Sir Graham Brady. We've agreed that there will be a leadership election to be completed within the next week. This will ensure that we remain on a path to deliver our fiscal plans and maintain our country's economic stability and national security. I will remain as Prime Minister until a successor has been chosen. Thank you.
Well, extraordinary moment in British political history, a moment of huge.
Well, so very, very clear that there is no designated successor yet. A leadership election within a week. Well, it's certainly not going to go to the members. That's for sure. It's certainly going to be chosen by the well, by the Tory MPs themselves. But oh wow. So yeah, she's already resigned. Apparently she's already been to see the king there, and yes, she's gone. She's gone. So yeah. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. That is it. Oh, so Sunak? No, potentially not. I do not think Sunak will step back in. I'll be very, very surprised. Who I am expecting, probably Penny Mordaunt, maybe Jeremy Hunt, maybe Ben Wallace. He's been talked about recently. Those sort of the couple names I'm sort of expecting, but a week leadership contest in a week. Whew. It took them 6 weeks to get down to Liz Truss and Rishi Sunak. That was it. So who knows how long it's going to get them to get them like that. But oh boys, there are going to be some fights. There are going to be some fights, I can tell you that, in in certainly the halls of Westminster. Already there will be moves. I can guarantee you, almost certainly, if not by the end of the day, we will be hearing names in the hat as to who is going to go forward. But like I say, I'm thinking Penny Mordaunt certainly is going to be in there. I doubt it, but it's always a possibility. Rishi Sunak, but I very, very highly doubt it. I think that he's got his own baggage that won't be maybe as damaging as Liz Truss's, but certainly at a potential next general election, I think that will be sort of very troubling. But what the Tories are trying to do here is essentially they are desperately trying to steady the ship as much as they possibly can so that they can just limp on to the next general election, because it is all about damage control now. They are going to try and limit as much damage as possible from the disaster that has been both Boris Johnson and Liz Truss, because they've been an absolute disaster. So they've got to do some damage limitation in some way, or else they go to a general election and they get wiped out. So general election potentially on the cards, but the Tories are going to go with every other option but. So unless something like really drastically happens, there ain't going to be a general election. I am still very much thinking that there's going to be a general election in 2 years' time. Very, very much so. So yeah, that was the big statement. As I expected, something to happen soon, but that's it. She's gone. Who's next? That's the next big question. Who's next? I think the only reason, obviously, she didn't get the boot quicker was because the Tory party themselves hadn't really worked out who's next. It's very obvious what is happening behind the scenes at the moment. You've seen, who was it? Who was the Tory MP who was like really angry yesterday, who went on to say that he was fed up of these talentless people just ticking the correct box so that they could get into a cabinet position for their own personal gain, not for the national interest. There is a mood now, I think, in the Tory party that they cannot allow these idiots and morons ever close to the wheel again. I think they're about to get purged. I think they're about to get massively purged. And you know what it is? All those people who are like that, they're all the ultra Brexiteers. So at this point, Brexit is well and truly over on on a massive scale. Oh yeah, hang on, we've got to get the. That's what we've got to get. Let me find it. There we are. Yes, congratulations. Congratulations to the lettuce. You know, you outlasted Liz Truss. You know, congratulations. You won a fantastic victory. I think we can all be agreed. A victory for the vegetable industry and lettuces around the world. Oh. Oh, there we go. They put a drum roll in for some reason there. So what? What happens next? It's going to be a leadership election, but this leadership election, from what we've said, is only going to be a week. How on earth they are going to pick a leader within a week? We don't know. Like we generally don't know, but it has to be someone that can sort of unite these two different factions of this party. Otherwise, whoever comes in, just as we said so many times throughout the Johnson years, that Johnson was the ultimate wallpaper. He promised everything to every faction, and even him, when he was on his way out, he was having people saying to him, "Oh, Boris Johnson's not conservative enough. Boris Johnson isn't Brexiting enough." So make no mistake, you can only appease these factions for so long. And I think it is going to really be that whoever comes in next has to come in and then basically just completely push and purge the party of all the absolute incompetence. And most of those people, by the way, are the ultra Brexiteers. So that will eventually be good for the party, but it'll also be good for the UK as well, because we'll finally get these complete and utter lunatics out of the party. And at least maybe as well, I think I was reading a piece by Ian Dunt in the Independent, not the Independent, in the Eye, I think it was, and he went said something similar, that Britain has now rediscovered adult politics, that the complete impact and the reality of essentially the mini budget and actually having to discuss properly the effects of, well, reality is something that previously we hadn't really seen for quite a long time. And it seems we are now returning to that sensible era of politics, because the Tories are not going to want to elect another Boris Johnson or even a potentially another Liz Truss. You know, you've seen what happens when you put a Liz Truss in. It's clearly not workable for them. But yeah, magical, a magical moment indeed, ladies and gentlemen. But we have to see who comes next now. I wouldn't be surprised if there are. Well, I don't know. I think it's too soon, really, to be calling your candidacy. But I wouldn't be surprised if there are a couple. Let's have a look. See if anyone comes out and says, so Jeremy Hunt's not standing. That's the only first thing we've heard. And that was literally 20 seconds ago. So that's hot off the presses for you. So yeah, that's what we're hearing so far. The leadership contest is going to be within a week, so that will be something. That's something for all to look forward to next week. A brand new Conservative leadership election. And by the way, I called it. I said at the end of this, I would not be surprised if we were doing this within at least the next 6 months. Now, I did say 6 months, but I didn't think it would be this quick. So, yeah, it sort of, in a way, I sort of called it. But yeah, I fully expect to now start seeing certain MPs pop up and say, I'm putting my hat in the ring. But potentially, this time next week, we could be finding out who is about to become the next Tory leader. And oh boy, are they going to have some troubles. Certainly, they are going to have to sort out these incompetents from the party and start seriously weeding the wheat from the chaff if they even have a hope to be able to survive. Yep, so Labour and the Lib Dems are calling for immediate general election. That's not surprising, of course. So Starmer's statement following the resignation has said, the Conservative Party has shown it has no longer a mandate to govern. After 12 years of Tory failure, the British people deserve so much better than this revolving door of chaos. In the last few years, the Tories have set record high taxation, trashed our institutions, and created a cost of living crisis. Now they have crashed the economy so badly that people are facing a £500 a month extra on their mortgages. The damage they have done will now take years to fix. And he's right in that. Like, even if somehow, like, Jeremy Corbyn came riding in and like became prime minister, even Jeremy Corbyn would have like a really hard time trying to fix the problems that this Tory government has made. Make no mistake, whoever takes over, be it we go for a general election or not, it's going to be hard for whoever takes over to try and sort out this mess. But who takes over? Well, we'll be finding out probably this time next week. That's for sure. But anyway, he goes on to say, each one of these crises was made right in Downing Street, but paid for by the British public. Each one has left our country weaker and worse off. The Tories cannot respond to their latest shambles by yet again simply clicking their fingers and shuffling the people at the top without the consent of the British people. They do not have a mandate to put the country through yet another experiment. Britain is not the personal fiefdom Britain is not their personal fiefdom to run how they wish. The British public deserve a proper say on the country's future. They must have the chance to compare the Tories with Labour's plans and to sort out this mess, grow the economy for British working people, and rebuild the country for a fairer, greener future. We must have a chance for a fresh start. We need a general election now. And Daly has come out and said the same thing. We don't need another Conservative Prime Minister lurching from crisis to crisis. We need a general election now, and the Conservatives out of power. Will it happen? I don't know. I generally don't know if it will happen. I don't think it will happen because I think the Conservatives are going to do everything they can to try and avoid a leadership contest, unless the next guy who comes in, or woman, which we don't know who it might be at this point, unless the next Conservative leader comes in and on their manifesto bridge is like, look, yeah, they're right. We need a general election because this is such a big mess. We probably need a brand new mandate to really sort this out. Could be. I think that's a possibility, but will the rest of the Tory MPs go for it? No, it's debatable. But I think what they desperately want, what they really, really want, is to try and limp on as much as they can to the next general election with at least a leader who can somewhat try and rebuild the faith and trust in the Tory party. That's their hope. And at least if they do get to a general election and they do lose, it's not going to be an absolute catastrophic wipeout. That is generally their hope. That's their only option. Oh yes, and I'm just saying that Nadine Dorris is trying to get Boris back. That'll be fun. Because there is no way, by the way, Boris Johnson comes back. In a couple of weeks' time, the Select Committee, which rules over probably the fate of Boris Johnson over Partygate, will come into effect, and it is going to be sitting, I think, almost 3 days a week for 4 hours. Yeah, it is not going to put Boris Johnson in the best of lights because it's going to reopen all the Partygate stuff. There will probably be more allegations, and this investigation is looking into the Downing Street flats, which the Sue Gray report didn't look into. So, yeah, it's going to be. Trust me, Boris Johnson is in for a couple of very difficult months on this. Yeah, but I'm shocked how fast they're going to do a leadership contest. So there isn't a leader in waiting, as a lot of people had thought. Again, I thought Jeremy Hunt might just swoop in, but apparently not. He said that he's not doesn't want it. That's fine. So we'll now have to see what this fight looks like. But yeah, it's going to be a week. And like I say, this time next week, we'll find out. Yeah. Yeah, Lefty Boater. Yeah. So about Ed Miliband's chaos. Exactly. If only he'd been able to eat that bacon sandwich properly, maybe we wouldn't be living in like the worst timeline. Maybe all the MPs can do a week each till the next election. That's possible. Maybe let's take it in turns. Have a everyone be a different cabinet position for an hour. Truss got brainwashed by the trickle-down economics cult. Yep. Well, she'd been, to be honest, if you look at who, this, I mean, I got this, and I still think it's worth going through at some point, but I just haven't had a chance because everything happened so quickly. Yeah, still I think something interesting to look through. I think about maybe another time, like I say. Yeah, so it's what happens next. I don't know who stands, who doesn't. We'll probably find out tomorrow. Maybe even by the end of today, we'll have some names in the hat. But yeah, that's it. You know, she's gone. She's gone. The lettuce won. Oh, so yeah. If there's something you take away today, ladies and gents, don't underestimate the staying power of a lettuce. You know? Oh, but so yeah. As always, guys, thank you so much for joining me on this very, like I say, impromptu live stream. Like I say, I did sort of bring it to you just in case something were to happen. And of course, you know, the worst has happened, as they say. So, yeah, that's it. That's the end of Truss. So, yeah, bring on, bring on the next one. You know, who's next? Who's next? That's what we want to know. Maybe the lettuce itself, you know, maybe we've discounted the lettuce. Maybe the lettuce has a lot more sound fiscal and political social policy than we'd really given it credit for. So, as always, guys, like I say, thank you very much for watching. We will be bringing you probably more updates on Saturday. So we'll see you on Saturday for a good morning walk of probably the craziness that's going on. Like I say, we've got more videos coming out. I foolishly did. It's horribly out of date, but I foolishly did a video on the fracking vote yesterday. And it was meant to come out this afternoon, but I've had to push it back because of, well, this. And not only that, the craziness that happens in the fracking vote itself. So it doesn't mention any of that, but oh my. So yeah, it's awfully out of date. So do excuse me if it's, you know, if I don't mention the craziness of the vote. But yeah, oh my. So yeah. That's been an interesting afternoon, I think. I think you'll agree. A fun distraction from the afternoon. But as always, guys, like I say, thank you very much for joining me. Like I say, please do remember to hit that like and share button on your way out. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page and a one-off donation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can, well, buy me coffee. And as always, thank you very much for watching. And of course, we'll see you all next time. So until then, we'll see you soon.